Hello, my dear friends of the Travel and Vietnamese Food channel. Today, I'm going to take you to a cultural landmark that's also the very first university of Vietnam. We're now at number 58, Quoc Tu Giam Street, Van Mie Ward, Dong Da District, Hanoi City. Welcome to the Temple of Literature, Quoc Tu Giam. Let's explore and see what makes this historic site so special. First, we'll need to buy an entrance ticket. It costs 30,000 VN duns, which is about $1.30 USD. If you'd like to have a tour guide, the ticket is 150,000 VN, or roughly $5.80 USD. All right, let's go inside and start discovering the Temple of Literature together. In front of you is the path leading directly into the Temple of Literature, an ancient brick walkway that's very clean, lined on both sides with neatly trimmed rows of trees. The Temple of Literature was built in 1070 during the reign of King Lai Than Tong. The king had it constructed to honor Confucius and also as a place of study for the crown prince. The first student to study here was Crown Prince Li Can Duc, who later ascended the throne and took the reign title Li Nhan Tong. It was King Li Nhan Tong who then established the Quoc Tu Giam, or the Imperial Academy, which was built right behind the temple. Over time, Quoc Tu Giam became the nation's leading center for training scholars and officials, truly deserving the title of Vietnam's first national university. Today, the entire complex is divided into 5 main courtyards. As you can see, there are 3 paths leading into the site. The 2 side paths were for students and commoners. The middle path was reserved for the king and high-ranking mandarins. Ahead of us stands the Great Central Gate, called Dai Trung Man. On each side are 2 smaller gates. The right gate is called Than Duc Man, Gate of Virtue. The left gate is called Dat Tai Man, Gate of Talent. Than Duc means complete in virtue, emphasizing moral character as the foundation of learning. Dat Tai means achieving talent, symbolizing academic success and mastery. To become a true scholar, one must first cultivate virtue and only then develop talent. You're now walking through a beautiful, peaceful landscape, full of greenery and the timeless atmosphere of Vietnam's traditional culture and ancient scholarship. Now, let's move on to the second courtyard. Here, you'll come across a beautiful architectural structure that has become the official symbol of Hanoi, the Quai Van Pavilion. Quai Van Cac means the pavilion of the constellation of literature. It was built in 1805 during the reign of King Gia Long, under the direction of Nguyen Van Thanh, the governor of Bac Thanh, Northern Citadel. This structure was created to honor literature, knowledge, and scholars who achieved academic success. It also served as a meeting place for Confucian scholars to write poetry and share their ideas. The pavilion's unique design features a round window in the center, surrounded by 4 wooden balconies extending in all directions. The round window represents the Kuei star, shining brightly in the sky. The Kuei constellation consists of 16 small stars arranged in 2 parallel rows, which, when seen from afar, resemble a pen or an open book. That's why the Kuei star has long been regarded as a symbol of literature, learning, and intelligence. Because of its artistic design and profound meaning, Quai Van Cac was chosen as the symbol of Hanoi. In 2010, on the occasion of the 1000th anniversary of Thang Long Hanoi, the Quai Van Pavilion was officially recognized as the emblem of Vietnam's capital city. Now, let's move on to the next courtyard. Here you'll see a square-shaped pond called Tien Quang Well. In Vietnamese, Tien means heaven and Quang means light. The water in the well is always clear and calm, reflecting the light of the sky above. At this site, you'll also notice a fascinating pair of cultural and philosophical symbols that represent Eastern philosophy, the concept of yin and yang. The square shape of the well symbolizes the earth, while the round window of the Quai Van Pavilion we saw earlier represents the heavens. Together, they form the Eastern philosophical pair of heaven and earth, symbolizing the harmony and convergence of cosmic essence. the idea that this is the place where the wisdom of heaven and earth meet. It's truly a fitting symbol for Vietnam's first center of learning, where generations of talented scholars were nurtured. This area also preserves a national treasure, the 82 doctoral steles. These steles are valuable stone records inscribed with the names of successful scholars. In 2011, the collection of 82 doctoral steles was recognized by UNESCO as part of the Memory of the World Regional Register for Asia and the Pacific. Then, in 2015, the Vietnamese government officially recognized them as national treasures. Currently, the site preserves 82 steles, representing 82 royal examinations held between 1442 and 1779, engraved with the names of 1,304 doctoral laureates. These were great scholars and cultural figures who made important contributions to the brilliant civilization of Vietnam's past. Each stele consists of 3 parts: the pedestal, the body, and the top. The top of the stele is typically decorated with 2 dragons flanking the sun or moon, which, according to Confucian philosophy, symbolizes prosperity and the flourishing of learning. Below that, the Chinese inscriptions record the year of the examination, praise the reigning king's virtues, and describe the social context and the reasons for holding the examination. On the body of each stele, you can find the names of the scholars who passed the doctoral examination in that particular year. To have their names engraved here, candidates had to successfully pass 3 rigorous levels of imperial examinations: Thi Hung, the regional exam held in provinces; Thi Hoi, the higher-level metropolitan exam; and Thi Din, the Royal Palace exam, which was the highest level of all. The Thi Din exam was held right in the courtyard of the Royal Palace, with the king himself writing and assigning the questions. Based on the candidate's performance, they were ranked into 3 doctoral degrees: Det Nut Jap, first rank; Det Nhị Jap, second rank; and Det Tam Jap, third rank. Among them, the Det Nut Jap was divided into 3 special titles, collectively known as the Tam Khoi, or 3 laureates. The highest title was Trang Nguyen, top scholar or first laureate, followed by Bang Nhan, second laureate, and Tham Hoa, third laureate. Out of the 82 steles still preserved today, only 18 scholars were honored with the title of Trang Nguyen, as not every examination produced a top laureate. Let's move on to the third stele from the entrance. This stele was erected for the 1463 imperial examination, and engraved on it is the name of one of Vietnam's most brilliant scholars, Dr. Laureate Luong Thay Vinh. Luong Thay Vinh ranked first in that examination and was exceptionally talented in mathematics and measurement, so people affectionately called him Trang Luong, meaning the measuring laureate. In ancient times, most scholars focused on literature, history, and social studies, while knowledge in mathematics or measurement was relatively rare. In addition to being a mathematician, Luong Thay Vinh was also a politician, diplomat, and poet. He was one of the 28 literary stars appointed by King Lê Thánh Tông to form the prestigious Tao Dan Literary Society, known as the 28 Constellations. Another notable stele here commemorates the 1775 examination, which bears the name of Ngo Thi Nhậm, a distinguished statesman and scholar. Ngo Thi Nhậm was a trusted right-hand man of Emperor Quang Trung, especially recognized for his contributions during the Dong Da and Ngoc Hoi battles. Sadly, in his later years, he was persecuted by the Nguyen dynasty. After being publicly flogged 100 times right in the courtyard of the Temple of Literature, Quoc Tu Jam, he returned to his hometown, where he passed away shortly afterward. He remains remembered as a brilliant and talented figure in Vietnamese history. Here's the translation in natural American English, suitable for a travel narration or video voiceover. This stone stele marks the first one ever erected for the regional examination held in 1442. It was the first examination with a commemorative stele, not the very first exam in Vietnam. The first national exam actually took place back in 1075, but at that time there was no tradition of erecting steles yet. Now, let's continue moving deeper inside. Right here, we have the Great Success Gate, or Dai Than Mon. This gate was only opened when the king and high-ranking officials came to perform rituals. On ordinary days, it remained closed to everyone else. In front of us is a large courtyard called the Great Success Courtyard, Sun Daithen. In ancient times, this was where royal ceremonies and offerings took place. Today, to carry on the nation's tradition of valuing education, students and teachers come here to offer incense and pray for good learning and success. This area is dedicated to Confucius and his most outstanding disciples. Confucius was a great Chinese philosopher who lived about 2,500 years ago. He was born in 551 BCE and passed away in 479 BCE. He was the founder of Confucianism, a philosophy that teaches people how to live harmoniously and treat others with respect and virtue. At the core of his teaching is the concept of Ren, meaning benevolence or human kindness, the idea that people should love and care for one another, creating a better and more peaceful society. This place also honors the value of education and celebrates the traditional spirit of learning and teaching that has been passed down through generations. Bạn có muốn mình điều chỉnh lại đoạn này theo phong cách hội thoại tự nhiên của người dẫn vlog du lịch Mỹ? Ngắn gọn, dễ đọc và thu âm hơn, vẫn giữ nội dung đầy đủ, không? Now, let's keep moving forward. This is the Kaithang Gate. Visitors can also enter the Temple of Literature's university area through the two side gates. This is the site of the Quoc Jam School, which was originally built in 1076. It was Vietnam's first national university, standing for more than 700 years of history. Unfortunately, in 1946, the French colonialists destroyed what remained of the original school buildings. For decades afterward, this area remained an empty piece of land. It wasn't until the year 2000 that a new complex was reconstructed here to celebrate the 990th anniversary of Thăng Long, Hanoi. Today, this place is no longer used for teaching, but rather to honor Vietnamese culture and education. It also serves as a memorial site dedicated to the great teacher Chu Van An and 3 Vietnamese kings. In the past, 2 long halls once stood on either side of this courtyard. Of this hall is the altar dedicated to the great teacher Chu Van An. Chu Van An was a native of Hanoi, born in 1292 and passing away in 1370. According to historical records, he passed the Tai Hoc Sin examination, which was equivalent to earning a doctorate degree during the Trun dynasty. However, he chose not to become an official, but instead opened a private school to teach students. He was known as a man of great integrity and virtue, and over time, his reputation as a teacher spread far and wide. Many of his students later became high-ranking officials in the royal court, further enhancing his fame. Impressed by his talent and moral character, King Trun Minh Tung invited him to the royal court to teach Crown Prince Trun Vuong and appointed him as the headmaster of the Imperial Academy, Tung Yip Quoc Tu Giam, the highest position in the institution. Because of his lifelong dedication to education and his noble spirit, Chu Van An was later honored with the title Van Te Su Bio, meaning the teacher of 10,000 generations. He served in his position for 30 years, during which he developed many teaching methods and curriculums that became models for later generations. When he witnessed the decline of the royal court under King Du Tong, who allowed corrupt officials to seize power, he bravely submitted a petition known as the 7 Decapitations Memorial, requesting the execution of 7 traitorous courtiers to save the nation. His plea was rejected, and in protest, he resigned from his post and retreated to Phượng Hoàng Mountain in Chi Linh, Haizung Province, where he continued to teach until his death in Minh Tasem Sebi. After his passing, King Trần Dụ Tông ordered that his spirit tablet be enshrined in the Temple of Literature, honoring him as one of Vietnam's most Imperial Academy. On the left is King Lê Thánh Tông, in the center is King Lý Thánh Tông, and on the right is King Lý Nhân Tông. And with that, we have completed our journey of discovery through the Temple of Literature, the Imperial Academy, the most symbolic place honoring Vietnam's tradition of learning and respect for teachers.